Welcome home, Raiders! This week, the Warcraft movie moves back in the schedule. We'll have the details, plus more on 6.2, raid testing, and much, much more. This is Convert to Raid 179.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
Convert to Raid podcast power station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is April 26, 2015, and it is now 11:18 in the a.m. Central Time. My name is Pat Crane, the host of this show. I'm also known as Zug around Airy Peak, US. Still raiding, still doing the thing, and of course, the players are here. From Seattle, from sleepy Seattle. Let's just say that way for now. And soon to not be in sleepy Seattle, it's Darius!
Yeah, this is my last show from Seattle.
Aww.
Yeah, aw.
Are you sad?
I will miss it. I'm a little sad. I liked it out here. I like living out here. This is a great city to live in. So.
Cool.
But well, I'm sure the Bay Area is just as good. So.
I'm sure it is. And speaking of California, let's move out to Hollywood and check in with the Funky Monk. It's Coltrane!
Star Wars fortune cookie say.
Ooh.
You better not ruin this one.
What is the temperature inside a tauntaun?
I don't know. What is the temperature inside a tauntaun?
Lukewarm. It's lukewarm. Because I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
That's true. That is true.
Lukewarm. What do you think, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, we had the new Star Wars trailer. We gotta,
right.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'll give you one bongo.
Come on.
Oh, you got a bongo.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, only one though. That's it.
All right. I'll take it.
How's it going, Phil? It's not even May the 4th yet.
I know, but it's coming up. And if we're Warcraft fans, we're also Star Wars fans. And that was sent in by N. Shrimplin. So thank you very much, N. Shrimplin. Thank you very, very much.
I hope nobody saw me chuckle there.
I think it came through on the audio, so I think
we can edit that out.
Screwed.
That'd be good.
Right.
Nope, not going to do it.
I have an image to maintain.
Not going to do it. Well, hello, fellas, and welcome back to another fun-filled show on a Sunday. Talking a little WoW and stuff like that, and just wondering what's going on with you guys in the world of Warcrafts. And Coltrane, let's start with you. What's going on, bud?
Well, I might have been doing a little dibble-dabble.
A dibble-dabble?
A little dibble-dabble.
A little dibble, a little dabble.
On a new class. And I can't believe I'm actually going to say this out loud. It's a hunter.
What?
Yes, I know.
Wait.
I know.
Wait.
Yes, I know. Now settle down. Now, hunter is a class I've hated for years. But I gotta tell you, they're pretty mobile, these guys. They can really run around.
They can.
And not only am I playing a hunter, but I'm also doing it horde side.
What?
I'm doing it on the horde.
Whoa. What?
Yes, wow. I'm doing it for the story. I want the story. I've leveled up like
first. CTR's going horde.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, but I've leveled up like 4 or 5 tunes to 100 on the Alliance. So, I mean, I pretty much got this story down pat. So I keep hearing the horde stories. Great. So, and I got to admit, so far, fantastic. Quick little spoiler alert for the horde side. If you're an animal lover, don't be on the horde side.
Oh, no.
Because basically, there's the frost wolves, right?
Yeah.
So you've got like Sheba, the frost wolf. Mm-hmm. And then you've got a buddy. So here's a hint. If an orc guy is like, I love my buddy Sheba. My frost wolf and I, we have a bond that can last for centuries. Sheba's dead. Sheba's not going to make it. Sheba is not going to make it at the end of this quest line.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's a little spoiler alert. If you're an animal lover, don't play horde side. There's a lot of that going on.
Did you boost to 90 and are doing it, or did you start? Is this a tune you started fresh?
I boosted from 82, I think.
Oh, okay. So you would have you done the Goblin intro zone in Horde side yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just making sure, because that's something you should experience, and then the rest of the Horde story. All right.
Yeah, it's been great, but the Horde story is fantastic. But old Sheba. So I just let's take a pause for
nobody's safe.
A moment of silence for a fallen friend. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Darius, what have you been up to this week in WoW?
Well, I haven't been killing off anyone's best friends.
Sure.
Like Mr. Train.
Mm-hmm.
But I've actually been leveling a tune as well, but it's just my Warlock. It's been my bank alt for the longest time, but for some reason I got the urge to get it to 100. So I've been leveling that, and not too much else. Things have been real busy with the move and my impending trip to Indonesia.
Yeah, you're going to Bali.
Yeah, next week.
Right after raid, like directly.
Yeah, leaving straight from raid Monday night to go to the airport to get on a very long flight.
That's insane.
So, sounds appropriate.
As long as it's after raid, though. You see, you're doing it right. You hear that, folks, right there. That's dedication. That's good.
It is dedication. Except for we can't make raid tonight because of a Sounders game. So
yeah,
that's bad.
Priorities,
that's
right?
Right, exactly. He has to watch soccer, everybody. So.
I know, and I'm bummed because we're so close. We are so close to a Beast Lord, Mythic Beast Lord kill.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We are so close.
Let's get into in just a second. But the other thing, the interesting part is that I'm also leveling up another tune. So trying to get my chamois to 100. I'm finally picking it back up again. I tried it for a couple of hours. I was doing enhancement. And I was like going, okay, this is cool. Getting the rotation down and all that kind of stuff. I mean, rotation, it's not really, you hit a couple of buttons and then you wait for 5 seconds while everything comes off cooldown. But I mean, it's kind of fun. And now I'm up to level 96 or 97, something like that. So yeah. And enhancement's kind of fun. It's, it's weird though, because I'm used to playing Elemental. I've never played enhancement before. And so I'm used to playing Elemental and Resto. So it's very, very different.
So you got to go male enhancement shaman. That's the way to go for sure.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Right. Well, we were talking about it before, so let's just get into the official raid team for this podcast. That's right. It's the Asparagus Initiative. Yeah. Woo! And
holy cow.
That's powerful music.
It is.
Too bad we've been stuck on the same boss for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes.
Maybe that's what we need. We need that music, the theme music.
Yeah.
We really do. So
we might be coming up on 5 weeks.
Yeah, I know. So we've been fighting Beast Lord for the last few weeks. Darius, what's your take on what's been going on?
Well, I think Paragon or one of those teams one-shot this boss on Mythic. Maybe it was Style War. I don't remember.
Method
always. Yeah,
they one-shot everything.
We are at least 1 or 2 pulls past a one-shot.
Yeah,
right. Maybe
I lost count. I don't have that many fingers, so lost count.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We keep getting very good. The problem is it's one of those fights where it's 10 minutes of the same thing over and over again. It's really simple and boring. And then it's the last 15 seconds that everything goes to hell.
Right.
And, that's when it all really matters. So it's doing that over and over again. So we don't get very many pulls in every night because it takes so long. But we're getting close. I mean, we have had so many sub 5 or 6% pulls. And it's just this wall that we're hitting where he should be dead and we haven't killed him. So we've got a few plans for tonight to change things up.
Right.
And that was part of it was my fault as raid leader and all that stuff for not changing things up sooner. Instead we just kind of bashed our heads against the wall.
Yeah.
But it's been an interesting experience. It's our first Mythic boss in here. And
it's been an interesting experience. It's been hard.
Yeah.
It's been hard, hasn't it, Colt?
It's been hell.
Well, it's been one of those things where it's oh man, all Monday it was just wipe at 5%, 5 to 8% somewhere in there, and it was just
Well, it's a thing. I mean, this is week 4 coming up on week 5, and this is the first boss. This is the first boss.
First boss that we're trying, yeah.
Yeah, so, this is number one. So, are the others going to be like this? So, yeah, it's got some hair on it. It's been a little hairy in there. And, first boss, like, okay, all right. So we've wiped several times, but we've got him down to, I think, 0.9%.
Yeah.
So in theory, he should be going down, but, Darius has a soccer game to go to.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So that's good. He wants to see soccer rather than, help the team finally, maybe after 4 to 5 weeks, push him over. That's good.
Glad to see where your priorities are.
Yeah.
It's my last Sounders game before I move. So I gotta go and cry.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you, the 19 other Raiders don't give a crap about your Sounders game.
We have like 30 healers. We'll be all right.
You're right.
Yeah, that's true.
I just raid from my phone anyway. I'm a disc priest. I have a button on my phone that says bubble. I'll just
there it is.
You can
be good to go.
So you can phone it in like every other raid time.
Literally phone it in.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
It's just he's a tough boss because it is so long to get to that end. And we have as many wipes as we've had on some of the easier bosses in Siege of Orgrimmar and whatnot. It just takes so long to get to that point where we actually wipe.
Right.
Yeah. I did bring up the question. I did, and I know it's a little controversial, but I did bring up the question: should we? I mean, we talk about it on the show, and Darius has mentioned it too. That Mythic teams need to realize, hey, maybe we're not a Mythic team, and that's okay. Maybe we're not. So I brought up that question. And then I became the most hated man on the raid team.
I stopped talking to Hulk for 3 days.
I know. Like, literally, no one talked to me for like 3 days. I'm like, guys, we're just having an open discussion. I'm just saying, we're coming up on week 5 on the first Mythic boss. Maybe, so. But anyway, I'm not saying I love the team. Everyone's great. I'm just saying, you got to admit, that's a lot for the first boss on Mythic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And from what I hear, Beast Lord isn't even the easiest boss to try first. Something like Orgorger would be probably similar, if not maybe a little bit easier. I'm not sure because we haven't tried it.
I heard Beast Lord was the easiest, but
I think a lot of people started with Beast Lord, the ones that went through progression.
Right.
And
I think we've hit these walls before, Siege of Orgrimmar, and even when we were 10-man, we did it in Throne of Thunder. And it always seems to work out where this first boss or a boss we get stuck on. Like we were stuck on what was it? It was Siege Crafter for like infinity wipes.
Siege Crafter. Yeah. Bring that up.
We were stuck there forever.
Why don't you just give me a bunch of paper cuts and pour lemon juice in it?
As soon as this one dies though, like whatever it is, clicks and we get over this hurdle, and then the next 2 or 3, they fall with no problem. So
yeah,
I think we'll be back on track.
No, sure. And I think go ahead. Sorry.
We've recruited a few more people, and we're still looking for anybody, any class, any spec. Like we're looking for a couple more great people to join the team. So if anyone's interested, find us in the forums or hit me up in game or something like that. So we're still recruiting, and we've got some spots to fill and whatnot. But I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, and also too, it's good to have a conversation. I think, you know what I mean, to get it out there, like, hey, let's just talk about this. You know what I mean, and I know, and the only reason I brought it up is because I had received a few whispers from members of the team asking this very same question. So let's just talk about it out in the open, you know, and that kind of thing.
And I think that for teams like ours, where we are blasting through heroics just fine, we don't seem to have a problem there anymore. It's kind of one of those things where, do you want to keep pushing or do you want to back off and maybe bring some alts into the thing or whatever? Mm-hmm. And I think that from my perspective, if I'm not at least pushing with a team on content, that it becomes kind of stale and boring. Even if I'm bringing in an alt, it can be kind of the same old thing.
Right.
And so that's kind of not where I want to be. I want to be pushing content if I'm going to do it. So. And I think that's where most people are too.
Yeah, no, I love the Mythic stuff. I love the challenge of it.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it up because I was getting a lot of whispers and a lot of the question kept coming up. So I was like, well, let's just talk about it. You know what I mean? Let's talk about it.
Right. And a lot of people get, we're seeing it in the chat room right now. I mean, some teams get stuck in this limbo situation where they aren't progressing anymore. And it's like, well, what do you want to do? So, I mean, you have to have that open conversation like we were talking about.
Absolutely.
So there. A couple of things before we get going into the show part of the show. Heroes of the Storm. They announced this last week, I believe, that they are launching June 2nd, which is awesome. I like that. And this is the last weekend of Gnome Appreciation Month. I just want to bring that up because we have a lot of gnome friends that watch the show and they are so intent on Gnome Appreciation Month. Yes. I just want to say that it is still happening. It is a thing.
Yes. April, it's their 1 month.
Yeah, it's their 1 month. And then we forget completely about them because they don't come above our knees. So it's fun.
So everyone go out and go hug a gnome.
Yeah.
And see a gnome in game /hug.
Yeah. And if you're playing for the Horde, you can first make sure that they don't move anymore and then hug them. If you want.
You have to admit, the gnome death animation, pretty great. They kind of like, wow, they kind of like flop and then land. It's pretty great.
I do like it.
Not that I would know gnomes. I don't know what it, I've been heard that that's what it's like.
I don't think I've ever appreciated a gnome.
Well, maybe you should.
Maybe I should do that, yeah.
Yes, you should.
All right, let's go to the raiding news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening in the news for raiders around the World of Warcrafts. And first up, we're going to talk movies. Because the Warcraft movie was actually bumped back in the schedule. It was supposed to be a March release for next year. And now it looks like it's going to be June 10th. That's what they said. Right. And so Colt, you're kind of you're in La La Land. You know the biz a little bit.
Right.
What's going on here?
Well, this is good news. Okay. This is actually very, very good news for the movie. I do in real life, I edit movie trailers or previews. Mm-hmm. So I deal with studios pretty much all the time. The number one thing about a studio and what they want for their movie is opening weekend. It's all about opening weekend because there's always a 50% drop off in money after that opening weekend. So if a movie opens to $100 million, the week after, it'll be $50 million. Week after that, 25. Because there's usually a 50% drop off in a film. Now, if you're not a great movie like 50 Shades of Grey, there might be a 70%. There might be a 70% drop off. But basically, the studio, all the trailers, all the craziness, all builds up to that opening weekend. And studios really put a lot of time and energy into finding the perfect opening weekend. So they moved it to June 10th. What that means is that the studio, Universal, Legendary, feels that it's a good enough movie to hang with the big boys of summer. So this is good. It shows that they have confidence in this film. They've seen the movie. We haven't. They seem to like it. This is good. Also, the new opening weekend that they've moved it to, their competition for that weekend is The Conjuring 2 and Now You See Me 2.
Ooh, that's a tough choice.
Bunch of sequels.
I think they're going to do okay. I think they're going to be all right.
Right.
Now, there is a thing about it is going to be a couple weeks before Independence Day 2 and Transformers 5 and all that stuff, which are obviously going to be huge, especially Transformers.
It's going to be a great summer.
It is. Yeah. And it's a couple weeks after X-Men Apocalypse.
Right.
So remember when I said about the 50% drop off? So X-Men Apocalypse, most likely going to open huge. Let's say $100 million, right?
Sure.
Following week, $50 million. And then the following week, our weekend for Warcraft, it'll make 25. So if that thing's making 25, that's fine. Because we're Warcraft and we want to come in strong. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good thing about as far as you want to make sure that the movies that you're opening against are not huge. So you can really stick out. And the fact that they are moving it to a summer release means that they feel that Warcraft can hang. So this is a really good sign.
Sure. I'm just kind of wondering how they make a sequel to Independence Day. I mean,
that's valid.
So the aliens are coming back, I guess. All right, great.
Just call it Memorial Day.
Right. Yeah, right. Memorial. Exactly. Today we celebrate our Memorial Day. That's true.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. So that's kind of cool. They're playing with the big boys now for movies, and that's really great. They didn't want to go head to head with Star Wars, which makes sense because big shared audience right there. But at least they're playing with the big movies of summer next year. So
yeah, and more time is also good. That's more time to work on visual effects and all that other kind of stuff to make sure it's nice and clean and tight. But this is actually a very good sign. You can actually find out if a studio believes a film is good or not, depending on the release date. You know, certain months of the year, you can tell they're just kind of dumping it off. And then other times they're really trying to showcase it. So this is good news. This is good news. That means the studio's happy. So
cool.
It's good.
Cool. And even Duncan Jones he was tweeting about it, and he said, it's really great that they're doing this, but it's going to be a frustrating extra wait for folks. So there we have it. We're just going to have to wait a little bit longer, but it's going to be excellent.
Yes.
So there. Let's talk a little bit of raid testing. Raid testing this week. Big raid testing on the PTR. And I don't know if you guys were like me. I was watching two screens. I was watching SCO on one screen, and then I was watching Sloot on the other one. Method and Midwinter. Full screen. I was watching these fights going on, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like these fights.
Awesome.
Lots of green flame.
Yeah, if you're allergic to like split pea soup, you might be in trouble. There's a lot of green everywhere.
BlackRock is all red flame. This one is all fell flame. So
exactly, it's all split pea soup wherever you look. It's insane.
Don't step in the soup.
No, don't.
What have you guys been watching this stuff, or what have you seen?
Go ahead, Darius. I saw the Gorefiend fight. Yeah. I also looked. Fat Boss had a great preview. Gorefiend is an insane fight. It's basically this big giant monster thing with a big open belly with teeth.
Yeah.
And it's similar. It reminds me of kind of Stitches from Heroes of the Storm, which releases June 2nd.
Right.
Which is awesome. But there's actually a phase where you actually get eaten by him and you go into his stomach.
Oh, no. Really?
Yes. And you fight ads in his intestines.
Oh no.
It's disgusting.
I don't see a problem with that. I think that's amazing.
Right. Well, it's kind of a funny thing. Cool. So what happens in the fight is if you die in the fight, he automatically eats you. So you go to the stomach. But if you don't die, eventually at some point you're going to get teleported into the stomach. And once you're in the stomach and then you eventually will get out, you fight ads. There's a similar thing where so you get in the stomach and then ads spawn and they start kind of rushing towards the middle of it and you got to kill the ads. However, there's one ad that you got to heal up. And similar to Sulong, the more you heal him, then the less health he'll have on the outside. So if you heal him to 90% health, when he spawns on the outside, he'll have 10% health.
Right.
To make up that extra 100. So it's kind of a Sulong thing for healers in his stomach. But eventually, you all go in his stomach, you fight ads, you come back out, you kill him. But Fat Boss guys seem to really enjoy the fight. It looked fun. It looks crazy.
It looks hilarious. Yeah. And Takamikazuch in our chat says, does this mean that we have to belly up in this fight?
Yes. Chat room.
Chat room.
Yes. See? My people! I love it.
Darius, have you been watching this week?
Yeah, I've been watching the streams, and I want to say I didn't think the rate. I thought BlackRock was really cool. I thought Highmall was really cool, and I didn't think they could get any better. And I think this instance looks amazing. I can't wait to get in there and kill some of these bosses. I mean, just the instance itself looks awesome, and then the bosses look even better. I mean, they are doing such an amazing job with this content lately. Just such an amazing job. And I'm just so excited for this to come out. And get in there and explore it and check it out.
Right.
I mean, it's if you're watching the stream, I parked my character right outside Black Temple to get some of that green fire and some of that stuff going on. And I'm so excited.
Getting amped for it.
I thought that was Seattle, right
there.
Yeah,
it's Seattle.
Holy cow! I would get out of there.
Right.
I mean, that's insane. Well, now the Kilrogg fight. What's interesting about this? Remember on Gorefiend, you go into his stomach. In Kilrogg Deadeye, you go into his eyeball. What? Yes. you apparently. So I don't know what Blizzard is doing, but we're entering the bodies of our foes. I think that's the theme.
Makes sense.
Of these raids. Makes a lot of sense. I think it's about time that Blizzard started doing this. So apparently you go into his eye or something.
We're really getting into character in this.
We really are.
Yeah.
We really are.
Oh boy.
But the fights looked really cool, and there was a big spoiler on one of these bosses. Don't want to reveal, but there was somebody was tied up in the background.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody was tied up during the fight. Yeah. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Kind of looked like a Lich King type thing, when that dude was tied up and he was like, ah!
Right.
There's a few things in this dungeon or this raid pointing to the fact that the person we thought was going to be the final boss might not be the final boss.
We'll have to see.
Interesting. So now with watching this raid testing, a couple of questions come to mind. When do you think we might see patch 6.2 go live? We can do a little prediction. I mean, it's only been up on the PTR for a week and whatever. So I'm guessing it's probably got another, month and a half anyway, maybe. Do you guys agree with that, or do you think it's going to be shorter, longer? I don't know. We're seeing a lot of raid testing already, so.
Let's see. The Warcraft movie it's now June 10th.
Yeah,
so
2016.
I think this will probably come out the week before that. We'll
Right,
get about another year of BlackRock.
Right.
And
right
then,
on.
yeah.
Cool. Coltrane, got any thoughts?
First off, that dude was Bolvar, and my apologies to the chat room. They're a little upset.
Spoilers.
Me calling Bolvar that dude. I apologize.
It's Bolvar Fordragon for crying out loud.
He's a big dude. I mean, I called him a dude again. Oh, what have I done? I'm sorry.
Well, he's a guy. That's fine.
But no, that is Bolvar, and he's a big bad boy. So my apologies to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal my prediction straight from Sloot.
Oh, okay.
He said June. Now, he didn't say what day, but he said it's June, guaranteed. It's coming out in June. It's got to be June.
All right.
So it's going to be June.
So basically, within that 2-month bracket of when it hit the PTR coming out in June. That sounds normal.
Going with June. June.
That sounds doable. Speaking of 6.2, we should probably talk more about what's going on with the patch. And there was a new build this week, and so there was a bunch of new stuff that was kind of added in and changed up a little bit. One of the things which I think is really dumb, but I wanted to bring it up because I know a lot of people love Pepe.
This is not dumb.
I know a lot of people love Pepe, and Darius, you may be one of those people that loves Pepe. I am not trying to get the Pepe pet at all. But now he's going to have costumes. He's going to have like a little Viking helmet, a little, pirate hat, a ninja thing.
A ninja shroud.
Ninja shroud.
Be a little ninja.
A little ninja Pepe. I don't know. Darius, you're into Pepe? Is that what I'm getting?
No, I mean, it's not really. I'm into Pepe. Like Pepe is part of all of us, and
right. He's right.
He's really got to understand what Pepe really means to the world of Warcraft. He's probably the most important character.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. He's bigger than the Lich King.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Coltrane, are you?
I think it's awesome that like this silly little thing they added to a garrison has become this huge thing within the community. That people are attaching to, and that they're actually, supporting that and adding these silly little helmets and things like that. Like this is cool to see.
Yeah, the chat room's Prismal and Pepe is love. Pepe is life. Pepe has become like the new Murloc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the new mascot. Mm-hmm. It's now Pepe. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll always have the Murlocs. I mean, come on, that's just huge. But like Pepe is really kind of taken over. He's like the new thing. So
they actually changed Bolvar over into Pepe.
Yes, that's right. He's now got Pepe on his head
from
his
They're getting everyone to fall in love with Pepe, like fall in love, and then they're actually preparing him to be the final boss of the expansion. It's this great.
I don't know that. Well, you have to heal him though. I mean, it's got to be like a healing fight, right? It's got to be.
No. He's the boss.
He's the end boss.
Yeah,
of the expansion.
Yeah, he's been in your garrison spying on you this whole time, and
he's really evil.
That's why he wants to go around and kill all these bosses with you, because he's learning their weaknesses, and
that's confirmed.
Yeah, that is confirmed.
That's a Convert to Raid exclusive right there.
You thought killing off some guy's best friend in the Horde storyline was bad. Just wait till you have to kill Pepe.
Right.
Oh man, it's the worst. You go to another quest zone, they're like, I love my Frostwolf. I'm like, no. It's bad news.
Oh man. Some other things from 6. We'll just leave that alone. Other stuff from 6.2. We have a bunch of new toys and battle pets, and there's one that's actually kind of cool because it came from this kid who made a little drawing of a pet. Essentially, he's like a little rock dude, and one of his parents tweeted the devs, and they said, "Oh, this is really cool. This is amazing. This is great. Do you have a name for him?" And he said, "Crusher." And so Crusher is going to be actually a new pet in 6.2. They put it in the game, and this only was, I think, a couple of weeks ago or something that I saw this. these tweets going out, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll put it in for 6.2." That's
awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome.
I love it when
cool.
they do this type of stuff. I mean, they did it with so many different items where they just put in these little stories behind the scenes and stuff, and this is just another one of those things, and just makes that lore just kind of a little bit richer from my perspective anyway. So
yeah,
cool.
And it shows that Blizzard really, with the community, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That there's a connection there, and they do listen, and I thought it was really cool. It's kind of a neat thing. You don't hear that a lot, so it's neat.
Crusher's going to be the new Pepe. He's going to take over.
No,
He's going to beat
know.
the hell out of Pepe
That
and take
would be
over and be
amazing.
perched on your shoulder, a little rock dude.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome. We have some new changes coming to professions, including the use of fell blood from your barn instead of savage blood. So they're going to change up the mat a little bit. And then you'll be using fell blood from now on to upgrade your items up all the way up to eye level 715, which is cool.
yeah, that's huge.
And then that savage blood stuff, you can't use it anymore. So then you just have to there's a new way to upgrade those first few ranks. So that looks So get rid of your savage blood now.
Well, that makes me happy because I got to admit I've kind of stopped the savage blood grind a while ago.
Right.
So if they were like, oh, new items with 715, I obviously want eye level 715. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. But now since it's a new mat, fell blood, I get to start from scratch. So that makes me happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, sweet.
Yeah. So for all those guys that have ignored savage blood, you get new life.
Yeah,
Exactly.
all that money you spent on Savage Bloods.
Now you get to spend it on a new mat.
In fact, do we know the eye level yet of the gear that's dropping in Hellfire Citadel?
Yeah, I think MMO has they've data mined all that already.
I know
Right,
that the ring starts at 735 and the
695.
695
695. That's what's dropping off Gorefiend.
for normals.
Is that normal or heroic?
That looks like normal.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes
Okay,
sense.
so 715 off the fell blood, that's right in there. That's right in the barn.
Mhm.
Right in the wheelhouse there. That's
Right.
good. That's good.
Right.
All right. Good.
So there you go. Also, some new things with the ring. By the way, with the legendary ring, the data shows. This is from Wowhead.com. The data shows that there are +3 eye level increments from 735 to 795. So it looks like you're going to upgrade your ring slowly all the way up to 795, which is I think
that's awesome.
That's
yeah.
good.
Because you get the phase that most people are on right now, you're collecting 900 of these token things.
Oof.
But that entire time you've got your ring, you're collecting all these things, but you're not getting any stronger. I think this is kind of cool. Like, you collect this thing, you upgrade it a little bit, then you collect more and you upgrade it a little bit. It's kind of a cool progression.
Yes,
I like it.
Yeah, that's not bad. They also
And it's going to be over too, which is nice.
yeah.
It'll be fully at the end of this. Like this is going to be it. So
at 795. You're done.
yeah, that's
Maybe, probably.
No.
So the other thing was that they updated the procs that are associated with the legendary ring, and like we were talking about last week, it's a group proc that somebody sets off, and for tanks it's gonna improve versatility for 15 seconds. For DPS it's gonna increase your DPS for 15 seconds. For healers it's gonna increase your heals for 15 seconds, and then at the end there's like a big explosion. I guess. And so you can get more heals, more DPS, and stuff like that in an AoE form, right? So
kind of, yeah. The healing one is it's a bubble.
Right.
It's not damage, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
So, I mean, do you guys think that the 15 seconds of burst is really going to make that big of a difference when it comes to, somebody misfiring it during a raid? I mean, it's nice, but I mean, is 15 seconds really going to be that big of a deal in the long run?
Oh, absolutely.
I think so. Yeah.
You blow that thing at the wrong time. Oh, you're in trouble, buddy. Right? I don't care if it's only 15 seconds. 15 seconds is actually a decent chunk of time.
Yeah, it's not
That's
bad.
a lot of globals right there.
I mean, that's a long time, and it's a huge buff. That's
Right.
it'd be equivalent to someone fat fingering Shark bloodlust.
Oh, sure.
I'm sorry. Did I say something?
Oh, poor Shark. Leave
Yeah.
the man be. He's a good guy and he's a good player. Poor Shark.
He is.
Poor Shark.
So, I mean, that's kind of cool that they updated this stuff a little bit, and now we can kind of see what's going on with the Legendary Ring, with all the stuff in 6.2. Was there anything else from the patch notes that you guys saw that you wanted to bring into the show? Because, I mean, that's all that I really saw that I was like, this is what Raiders want to know. Pepe.
Yeah. Yes, Pepe. No, but you're right. I mean, the majority of this time I've been spending was watching the raids.
Right.
And checking out these fights and all that stuff. And like Darius has said, they really look cool, man. I mean, there's a lot of split pea soup everywhere.
Split pea soup.
Yeah, they look like a lot of fun. These fights are crazy. I also asked Sloot, too, about personal responsibility, if it was about the same. And if I want to double check with him, but I believe he might have said that it was about the same as far as personal responsibility, if not maybe even a little bit more. But I want to hear that from him.
Yeah,
so
well, you might be able to do that. I think on an upcoming show we'll have him on. So
yes, that would be awesome.
So yeah, so might be able to hear from him soon. TM.
Good.
Right. In other news, the WoW token hit the EU servers this last week.
Yeah, it's hard.
It hit hard. Darius, what happened with this token?
It hit. It went available, and it started off more expensive. It was 20 euros, which is a little bit more than the US price when you convert it. But it started off at 35k gold, and then it immediately went way up to almost 45k.
Yeah.
It fluctuated a little bit, but I believe right now it's still up there at like 40 or 41k.
It's
up for one token.
It's up.
It's
amazing.
It's gone way up.
And meanwhile, if you go to wowtoken.info, you can check out and see what the prices are. Right now, it looks like the North American one is at about 20k. So it's down 10,000 gold. I mean, it dropped way down, and it's still fluctuating, but man, I don't know what the difference is between EU and US, but it's a big difference. It's noticeable. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're celebrating over there.
Right. The guys that are
my whole Twitter feed was celebrate good times. Come on.
Gold for everybody in the EU.
That's right.
Oh boy. So I don't know. But you can check it out. Go to wowtoken.info. You can see what's going on and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to do a little follow-up with the Timewalking stuff that we talked about last week. Timewalking, for those guys that don't know, that's where we're going to be able to go into old instances and be appropriately leveled to meet, so that it would be a difficult dungeon. And right now they're looking at a bunch of BC and Wrath dungeons to bring you into. And there was a follow-up from Zarum about this, because a lot of people were commenting that maybe it's a little bit too much of a rehash, or they're just trying to get out and make a new content, or whatever the case may be. And he said, in part, we love 5-player dungeons too, but they're also difficult to introduce in patches, as they take quite a lot of time to develop relative to their lifespan as relative content, even when compared to new raid dungeons. Most players run through 5-player dungeons a small handful of times to get whatever upgrades are available, and then they just move right along, right? And he said this is in part why we're introducing Mythic difficulty for 5-player dungeons in 6.2, so that it's a challenge and so they can get more upgrades and all that kind of fun stuff. And that's also why they're doing this time walking, to make sure that there's content available, make sure that there's upgrades available for people, while they can have their artists spend time making new raids and other content of the same, type of thing, where it's going to get more use. So Colt, do you agree with that? Do you see what's going on with there?
Yeah, I mean, the basic thing is, by doing this, and to quote him exactly, this frees up our artists more to create the creatures and environments needed for future content, which aids us in our efforts to reduce the gaps in between content updates.
Right.
So that's a good thing. I mean, we all know what happened at the end of Siege, and we don't want that again. So by introducing this, there's this great content in the game, and it's already there. Like, these are some great dungeons, and there's some great stuff in there already that people do not experience currently, because there's no upgrades, because it's all about the loot. And it's not a challenge. You just kind of blow through it, and it's not easy to get a group to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this time walking thing allows you to see this content, which is great. And at the same time, they can have their guys working on all the future stuff at the same time. So it's kind of like a win-win here in a way. You know what I mean? We can get our content now. We can check out some of these dungeons, and they're developing stuff as they go behind the scenes. So I think it's a good thing.
Right. And I know that we have a question about this, but I'll ask Darius. Do you think that the whole, getting rid of Valor points, etc., do you think that really kind of bit them in the butt on this, where they're not seeing people run through dungeons as much because they don't need the Valor, so they don't do anything to get gear upgrades?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, we ran through a lot more dungeons and heroic scenarios, things like that with VP, with the Valor points, but we all did it begrudgingly. None of us enjoyed doing it. It was a slog. It was it was a chore, and it's made me not hate the Warlords dungeons as much as I hated the mop dungeons or the heroic scenarios, because I was in there constantly. Right. So I'm looking forward to being able to go back and do these dungeons on Mythic. I'm looking forward to going back and doing old dungeons through this time walking thing. This is I don't have that resentment towards the dungeons that I did in mop. Right. And I think this is perfect. This is great. This is what we wanted. We wanted more dungeons, more ways to get gear and content and stuff, but we don't want to sacrifice the amazing raids that they've created. Now with having them spend all their time on new dungeons. This is a great way to do it. There's 10 years of content that they could be using, and we're finally being able to take advantage of that. So
sure. Colt, do you agree with that sentiment?
I do. If there's a way that we can get loot now so they can focus on content to get loot later, that's fantastic. That's all about the loot. Right. That's loot now and loot later. That's a win-win. That's a lot of loot.
It's all about the loot. About the loot. You get it done.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the loot. About the loot. You get it done.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the loot. About the loot.
I think you should.
It's all about the loot. About the loot. It's pull.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it is definitely. I think it's a better way to do it, only because I remember just running dungeon after dungeon after dungeon, trying to get enough VP so that I could get that new piece of loot, whatever it was, and I mean, it kind of drags you down. I mean, it gives you something to do for a while, but we have so much to do now, especially with garrison stuff, and then we'll have the Navy shipyard playset thing going on for 6.2, and so we're going to have so much to do that we can do in 6.2 that I think that, running dungeons on top of everything else is kind of a drag. So, or it could be a drag, depending.
I remember, in Siege of Orgrimmar, getting a piece of loot, and it was a big upgrade, and you're all excited, and then I'm sitting there thinking, man, now I've got to go run a pile of heroic scenarios or dungeons right now to upgrade this, 4-4. And it's just, that's not the feeling you want to have when getting loot or when thinking about content, so
right.
This is good. This is really good. I have such good memories of some of these Wrath dungeons and BC dungeons, and to be able to go back and have them be actually challenging is
back when you had your group finder was you yelling in the zone.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Right. Yeah, I am too. It's cool. All right, let's get into some questions.
We've got mail.
We do, and if you have anything for us about rating or anything else, you can let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com or call our raid line 612-787-RAID. And Coltrane, what is our first question?
Do you want me to do this one from MX Troll?
Yeah.
Do you guys play WoW at all right now outside of raiding? If so, why and what do you do? If not, what could Blizz do to fix that?
Sure. Garrisons. That's it. No. Darius, what are you doing? You're leveling leveling a warlock, right?
Yeah, I leveled my warlock. For a while I was trying to collect all of the treasure on my priest that's around the Draenor. But no, it's mostly log in, do my garrison missions, so I can pay for WoW through gold.
Right.
And then raid, and that's about it. But my life is very, very busy right now, so I don't think Blizzard has to do anything to try to accommodate me. I think there's nothing they can do. I just don't have time to log in and play WoW all that often. So
sure.
What about you, Pat?
Well, I'm leveling up my shaman. You know, you've got that going. But other than that, I mean, here's the problem: is that we're kind of in a lull right now. And I think everybody understands that. Blizz understands that. I'm going onto the PTR and checking out some of that stuff instead of playing regular WoW. Like I built my shipyard. I thought that was kind of a cool little quest line. I got to figure out where stuff was going to be and all that kind of thing. So I've been checking that out and more of the 6.2 stuff. But I mean, as far as in-game stuff, other than the shaman and doing my garrison stuff, making sure that I have all my treasure hunters in place so they can make as much money as possible for me so that maybe one day I can pay for WoW using gold.
Right.
Instead of the other way around. So, I mean, that's been about it for me. How about you, Colt?
Yeah, you know, it's a funny thing. Before the hunter that I've started leveling, I was only logging in to raid. And I would log in to do my garrison chores, as, you know, we've talked about on the show, and to raid. And that was pretty much it. I wasn't, but now I've, you know, started leveling the hunter. So now I'm kind of revitalized and, you know, I'm doing the hunter thing. I'm doing the horde side. So I'm getting to see that story now. Poor Sheba. And it's been a lot of fun.
Sheba.
Oh, our poor Sheba. But he asked the question too, if all you do is log into raid and all you do is log in to do garrison chores, then what could Blizzard do to fix that? I think the fix is kind of what you just said. When the new content arrives, you know, when 6.2 hits in June, that will fix that. Now we've got a new raid. We've got a new zone. We've got new quests and new stuff to check out. We got a new world boss, I think. I think that Kazakh, that Doom Lord Kazakh, he's got a new name now. He's got a new model. I think he's a world boss. I'm not sure. Okay. But he looks amazing. But there's going to be new stuff to do. So we are in a lull right now. And when you're in a lull, you log in, you do your garrison stuff. You log in, you do your raid.
It's a part of WoW that has been around forever. When you're done kind of with progressing through whatever content you've been progressing through and you're just kind of waiting. You're waiting. Waiting patiently, of course. Nobody's freaking out.
There's by far more current level relative content out right now than there's ever been in the past.
Oh, yeah.
By far. So, you know, there's a lot to do in the game. But
right.
Yeah. I mean, even though we are in a lull, you know, there's still tons to do.
There is.
You know, MX Troll's actually in our chat room.
Yep.
And he says, I just feel like a patch should actually last until the next patch.
That's tough though, because everybody progresses at their own rate.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you want to cater to your midpoint and say, okay, what are these guys doing? Obviously the guys that are, you know, rolling through Mythic content like it's nothing, they've had nothing to do for a long time. And those guys that are maybe just clearing normals right now, those guys just still have a lot to do. And so you're trying to find that perfect point. And I think, you know, I think it was Ian Hazakostas said that, you know, 6 months sounds about right for a new raid. And I think that that's probably about right. It feels okay. So I don't know.
I mean, we are raiders. So somebody in the chat room was saying, well, you should ask this question to people who are not raiders. Well, we are raiders, so we just log into raid. There are a ton of people that love pet battles, that love PvP, that are trying to get all the garrison jukebox, you know, and become a jukebox hero.
Oh, wait, I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that at all.
Yes. Had to bring it out. Dust that baby off.
That's
all
right. That's right. I might have to go.
Gotta get back in time.
Might have to do that.
Yes.
I don't know. All right, we have another question. This one comes from our friend Ro, and he says, "Do you feel we'll see another raid after Hellfire Citadel and before the June release of the Warcraft movie? So something in between now and between June this year and June next year."
I mean, yeah, that would be almost a year of Hellfire.
Yeah.
If we don't see something, people are going to be very angry.
Yeah, it'll be Siege of Orgrimmar all over again.
Yeah, I'm hoping for another like Ruby Sanctum or something like that. You know, that was a lot of fun. So,
wow, well, that's a good point. I mean, that's going to be a year. So, do you think that they're going to do it? Or they're going to have another raid, or new expansion, or something?
So now, what you guys were seeing on the PTR, on all the raid testing, What do you think? Is there going to be a new? Is there going to be another raid in this expansion?
Little spoiler there. Little spoiler.
Well, it's just we're just guessing, right? We're guessing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Do you think that might happen, or do you think that might not happen?
I'm pretty sure they're just going to time walk ICC, and that's going to be the final expansion. We're just going to kill Lich King over again.
That was a great fight. You got to admit. Lich King fight was pretty incredible.
Actually, it should be Illidan, right? It should be Time Walk Illidan. And then that's it.
True.
And that's
That's
it.
true.
I
don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
Another raid after Hellfire Citadel. Because when I saw Hellfire and I saw the bosses listed, and I'm like, well, this is it. This is the final raid.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we'll have a little jazz.
Well, we got to have a little something.
A little mini, a little something.
But Ruby Sanctum, really? You're going for that one?
I mean, that was my favorite raid of all time. So
I didn't mind as much.
I did not like that one. It was going through an hour of trash to get to the boss.
Well, that's valid. But the boss fight was fun. I like the little
with the cutters.
turns.
Oh, jeez.
The little you got the wall and the tank's got a pivot and that was kind of fun.
The cutters. Oh,
yeah, different phases. You know, I didn't mind that fight.
I like how we're reliving this.
And
right
the
now.
trash didn't drop any loot.
That's true. Well, on 10-man back then though. There was different loot on 10-man versus 25. The 25 got all the good loot. The 10, the loot was like, it was awful.
Nothing. Ugh,
yeah.
It's horrible. Yeah. And we have one more. Darius, you want to grab this from Raven's Word?
Raven's Word. He says, do you think there will be a massive subscriber drop when the Q1 results are announced on May 6th?
So now we're talking about subs.
What do you think? What do you think?
For Q1, well, there's got to be some because they had this big, huge, massive bunch of people. I mean, they had 10 million subs for Q4. So for the end of the year, they said, "Oh, we have 10 million subscribers." That can't last. I mean, that's what happens at the beginning of the expansion. Everybody kind of comes on board and checks it out, right? And not everybody stays, and we know that. I don't know how massive it'll be, but there will be some.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't think it'll be any bigger than it's ever been in the past. I don't feel like we're going to see a huge drop. I mean, if the numbers in CTR that we have for tunes, because I do all the purging every month and things like that, those are any indicator. The numbers have been pretty solid since Warlords was released. There's a huge spike when it first hit, but we haven't lost a lot of people since then. People are still playing that came in with that initial surge. So if there is a drop, I don't think it's going to be much.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I think we're going to lose 9 million subs.
It's going to be down to 1 million subs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. We're going to be down.
Everyone that plays the game is watching the stream right now, and that's it.
That's it.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys. All of Warcraft.
Yeah, all of Warcraft. Yeah, no. Obviously, there's going to be a drop. Chat room's got some various predictions. Some are saying 8.4 million. Some are saying, I bet we're back to 7 million subs. You never know. That's pretty low. But I think that there obviously will be a drop from the initial boom. But yeah, we'll find out because that's coming up on 6th of May. We'll see kind of where that is. Now, of course, what will happen is we will hear that there's a drop and then everyone will scream, WoW is dying. Warcraft is dying.
Warcraft is dead.
Yes,
Again.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I'm preparing all of you for that will occur. No matter if it drops like 10 subscribers, people will be like, oh, Warcraft's dead.
The end of days.
Exactly. It's the end of days.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind that, for myself, I've been playing this game for 10 years plus. This WoW is fluctuated. This is how it goes. There's times when it's big, there's times when it slows down, then it gets big again. So it's WoW is not ending, it's not dying, it's still higher and bigger than any other MMO out there. So nothing to worry.
Right. And then we have one that I think we should spend some time on. We have a question we should spend some time on and talk about a little bit. And this one comes from Verda Symptotes. I don't know. Whatever. Right. They say, any advice for someone who has only done LFR rating and has no idea where to start on getting into normals? Okay. So going from an LFR hero to getting into normals and beyond. So Darius, let's start with you. What kind of advice can you give somebody that's looking for something more than LFR right now?
Oh man, I mean LFR is the pinnacle of raiding at this point. So no, I'm just kidding. If you've got friends that do normals, ask if you can come along. I don't know what kind of spec you are or role, but ask. If you're a tank, maybe ask if you could be a third tank, or you could play a DPS off spec, or an extra healer or something like that. Ask if you can jump in. It's normal, so they can move around, up or down in numbers. If you don't have anything like that, and maybe you're not in a guild, you could try to get into CTR. There's lots of raid teams there that are doing normals and always looking for people. Always. I'd say try to find a good group of people that you can experience it with at first. I really don't recommend the group finder tool and just picking a random group, because you're not going to know anyone in there. You're going to be much more uncomfortable in there. And if you screw up, there's the chance that they could be jerks to you. I mean, it's a chance. It's not like they're going to, but you don't want that for your first experience. You want a pleasant experience because I want you to come back to raid, and Blizzard wants you to come back to raid. So, I want you to have a good time.
Right. And it is really fun with friends. That's the way it should be anyway. But sometimes you got to make those friends first. And so maybe looking for group would work, especially if you're doing like normal high mall. That could be fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
even that. Colt, any advice?
Go ahead.
Well, Ellen Tarian said that Open Raid is actually definitely a little bit better than in-game group finder for new raiders. So maybe Open Raid still valid, still definitely something to check out.
Sure.
I kind of agree with Darius too. The group finder, good luck getting an invite. I've tried like on some of my alts, I'm 630 plus 640 geared, and they're like looking for normal, for this raid, and it was like high mall, and I'm like, I'm ready, and then I don't get any invites. So then I thought,
the chat room points out, like, it's a group doing normal high mall, and they're like looking for 690 plus. Please have ahead of the curve heroic from BlackRock.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, come on.
Yeah, and we've had that happen like in the past, and it seems to still be kind of happening now. And I noticed, I'm like, why am I not getting any invites? I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should get the gold proving ground thing, because apparently raid leaders can check that if you have gold in something. So I even got the gold, and I still wasn't getting invited. So, and then we do get in there, and of course we wipe, and the tank's like, well, I've only ever done this fight on, LFR, and then everyone's like, oh, you suck, and then he quits, and everyone quits, and I'm like, well, that was a great experience. So there is some toxicity in that kind of group finder. So maybe check out that Open Raid. Might be a good place to get going, to get started. Trade chat is always great for finding raid groups. always
great.
But here's the thing: we can't just say come to CTR, and we can't just say just raid with your friends, because some people have a lot of friends and some people maybe they don't, and that's fine. True. So we got to find advice for them. So maybe I would sign up for an account maybe on this Open Raid, try out this group finder thing. And see, sometimes hang out in a major city. Sometimes people will be saying, looking for one more, looking for two more, just to find a raid group.
The other thing would be, look for a guild that is doing the content that you want to do. I mean, that's another possibility. Just see if you can join up with a guild, and if they have something going on where they're doing, normal high mall once a week, just for, for funsies or whatever, you can maybe join them, and who knows where it goes from there. But I think there are ways that you can search for the right group, and I think that doing it randomly is kind of weird. So try to do it with as many friends as possible. Yeah.
In fact, the chat room is really highly recommending Open Raid. So, and because also to an Open Raid, you can rate players. So that's a good thing. Right. Because you're going to be on your best behavior if you know that you're going to get a rating. Like if you're a troll or you're angry and upsetting everyone, you're going to get a low rating. You're not going to be able to raid. So people are on their kind of best behavior with Open Raid. So I just definitely check out Open Raid.
Really don't get discouraged. If the first group you find is not what you want, or it's not good or whatever, don't get discouraged. Try another one. Like, raiding is a lot of fun, and you can find people that are going to match what you're looking for. They're out there. It just might take a little bit. And don't be discouraged if you wipe either. As I've said on the show many times, it shouldn't be called raiding. It should be called wiping with a chance of killing a boss. Sure. You're gonna wipe, and it's gonna be a little bit frustrating, but but stick it out because it is so much fun.
But after 5 weeks on Mythic Beast,
Whatever.
it's a little hairy.
It does. Well, somebody said wildprogress.com might be another way to look for a group. So who knows?
All right.
Who knows? You can do it all sorts of different ways. But I think it's about time that we get the heck out of Dodge. So I'm going to play this music.
No, I'm in Seattle.
Oh, right. And soon you're going to be in Bali.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be in California. You're going to be in near wine country.
Woo! Look at me.
Which I'm jealous of, actually.
Come visit. We'll go drink all the wine.
Sounds good. But before we get out of here, let's talk about 5-star reviews. Darius, who do we have to thank this week?
We've got Johnny B 8520 and Jamba.
I love
Jamba.
Yeah. There's a juice, I think, named after Jamba.
Jamba juice,
Pretty sure.
some type of juice.
One right down the road. Maybe I'll go right now.
Got a lot of Jamba in it, from what I hear.
Oof,
a lot of Jamba.
Lots of Jamba. Not good. All right. Thank you guys for all the comments that you give us on all of our video stuff as well, on YouTube, through Gamebreaker, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Any shout-outs this week, fellas? Anything? Nothing?
I was just going to say a shout-out to Verda Simtotes, who we just gave some advice to. Keep us updated. Let us know if you find a raid team, and if so, and if you're having a positive experience, and what method you used. Because that's a very good question. We have a lot of new raiders that listen to the show. So any advice or anything that you went through, please let us know. Keep us posted.
Absolutely. And that goes for everybody. You can talk to us about whatever you want to do. We cannot do this show without you guys. So please chat with us. Chat with us, do all the things that you do that are wonderful. I got to get out of this music, though. I'm just going to...
What? You're just going to bail out? Bail out of that?
I got to bail out of that one, and I'm going to play...
All right.
I'll give a little bit of funk this week.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. A little ham and eggs coming at you.
Now, if you guys want to spark up a conversation with us, you can do that pretty easily. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at ConvertToRaid, or even individually. Right, Coltrane?
You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane. And you can follow Darius, man, at Bold Mind.
Yes, and you can join the Bazuba Nation by heading over to ConvertToRaid.com. That's where we have our show downloads, our forums. We have tons of links for raiders. We have our audios and our videos all over there, and so much more. It's all over at ConvertToRaid.com. Oh, by the way, next weekend is the Minnesota meetup. Looking forward to it. A little Comic-Con action, a little meetup action with a bunch of folks. We got about, like a couple dozen people coming out, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's the thing at the Herky Durky or whatever?
Yeah, at the Herkimer.
Right.
Herkimer, that's the one.
Sure it is.
It is. Hey, our live feed and video show is all over at GameBreaker.tv. Make sure to watch, like, comment, share, subscribe, blah, 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 YouTube things over there. We're also live streaming right now on AlphaGeekRadio.com for those that want to listen live through their mobile device or Roku or what have you. The audio show is also available on Stitcher, iTunes, blah, 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 internet.
Internet.
The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends at signalsmedia.com as a part of the All-Star Network over there. And that's going to be it for the show. Thankfully, because that's a lot of talking right there.
That is, my goodness gracious. It's a full meal.
Yeah, and we hope you guys had a good time. I know that we had a good time, and thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week without Darius. Darius, have fun in Bali.
I'll try. It'll be really hard, but I'll try. But
we'll continue on. We'll forge on at our regular time, Sunday, 11 a.m. Central, for all the guys that Convert to Raid. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.